Just improvising a little bit. Hey, everybody. Just wanted to drop in here and do another live stream. And just wanted to jam a smidge to start out and maybe go from there. A little bit of jazz here today. I don't know. I was goofing off and just making something up on the fly, improvising, as we like to say, in the music biz, the music industry, as you will. As one does, from time to time. And just got some show notes here today, and we're going to go through a few things, and we're going to talk about a number of things, and I'm not going to be too long. Again, I respect everybody's time here, but we are going to talk about one. Well, I'm welcoming you, and I was jamming. I did a little bit of jamming, just a smidge of jamming, okay? And then we're going to do natural notes on the guitar, so I'll pick up the guitar here in a second, and we'll talk about the natural notes. We're probably going to go up to the 5th fret here, just so everybody can learn that, who wants to and whosoever will, right? And then maybe we might talk about some music theory and scales and so on and so forth, okay? Then we got some music news, which I thought was hilarious, not necessarily because of the hubris, perhaps, that might be coming down the line for this band, but because of all the reaction that it got from individuals who thought, nay, there's no possible way that this could even happen. Whether or not that's a fact is irrelevant. I just thought the reaction was funnier than the actual piece of news. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then finally, we'll round us out with some questions. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll take a look at them as soon as we're done with all of this other stuff. So let me grab my guitar, and let's go ahead and get started. And let's do the fun stuff here, and let's learn a little bit here, okay? So for those of my students that have missed lessons this week, again, remember, remain anonymous in your chat. Remain anonymous in your chat, okay? Don't tell anybody who you are, okay? I've got students all over the country here, and we, the internet's a crazy place. I know we're on the internet right now, but hey, it is a crazy place, all right? So let's not get sideways on that one. Stay anonymous, just ask your question, and we'll have a great time, and we'll answer it, okay? All right, cool. So the first things first here, let's talk about the notes on your guitar up to the 5th fret, okay? The notes on your guitar up to the 5th fret, okay? So let's go with open, low E, okay? You've got open, low E here, okay? And then we've got the 1st fret, which is F. Then we've got the 3rd fret, which is G. Then we've got the 5th fret, which is A, okay? Now we're gonna go to the A string, A. Then we're gonna go to 2nd fret, B. 3rd fret, C. Then we're going to go to 5th fret, D. Okay, now we're going to go to open D. Then 2nd fret, D, which is E, sorry. Then we're going to 3rd fret, which is F. And then we're going to go to 5th fret, which is G. Okay, then we're going to go to G. Okay, open G this time. Then we're going to go to 2nd fret, A. 4th fret, B. All right, this is a little change up here, right? Okay. And then we're going to go to open B next. But I want to go a little further. The 5th fret of the G is going to be a C note. Okay. So now let's go to open B, and then we'll resume this. Open B. Now we're going to go to C, which is 1st fret. Then D, which is 3rd fret. Then we're going to go to E, which is 5th fret. Okay. Now we're going to go to open high E. Then we're going to go to F, which is 1st fret. Then we're going to go to G, which is 3rd fret. Then we're going to go to A, which is the 5th fret. Okay. Notice that the low E and the A string have the same letters on the same frets. Well, they're both the same name, right? They're E, right? E, F, G, A, E, F, G, A. Okay. All right, so they're basically the same thing. They're just 2 octaves apart. Okay, so keep that in mind. I highly recommend memorizing all of the letters on your guitar, at least up to the 5th fret. Okay, at least up to the 5th fret. That's going to give you a very, very useful base that you can A, build chords with, okay, and B, learn a lot of easy music theory with. Now, a couple things I want to point out. One, double check your locations of your half steps, the naturally occurring half steps. Let's just go through those for a second here, okay? Let's do the ones that are very easily visible. First of all, what is a half step on your guitar? Well, it's just from 1 fret to the next fret, okay? From 1 fret to the next fret, okay? So let's talk about that one on the A string. So we've got 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the A, which is a B. Then you have a half step to a C, okay? The B to C is a naturally occurring half step, okay? Then we've got E to F, which is also a naturally occurring half step, okay? Okay, now those happen at different places on the guitar and also on different instruments, but music theory-wise, they are always B to C and E to F. Always B to C and E to F. Okay, so keep that in mind. Always B to C and E to F. All right, make sense? Cool, that's what we want right there. All right, so we got that. Now moving on, we're going to talk about a few other things, which I'm really excited to get into, and this is some music theory, okay? So let me put this down here for a second. All right. And what we're going to do now is go over here with my handy dandy marker, and we're going to talk about something called scale degrees, which we kind of alluded to a little bit last week, okay? But this is going to be something we're going to do here just to really reinforce the concept. Now, for scales, you always have to have 8 changing notes up until the 8th, okay? And what I mean by that, the 1st and the 8th are the same. The 1st and the 8th are the same. Okay, so let me just go with the one that's the easiest. I'm going to give you the letters as they occur in the music alphabet, but I'm going to go with the easiest scale possible, and we'll use that next. So here's your letters of the alphabet. And then it goes back to A, okay? Goes back to A, okay? Now, here's the easiest scale of music theory, and that is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. Now, why is that? Because there's no sharps and no flats here. It's all natural notes. All natural notes. Now, natural notes are very useful to us. Natural notes are going to give us where all those natural half steps occur. That's what you're going to need to figure out, well, on the fly and as you work through music theory, like performances and stuff like that, or even in school, academics, it helps you know where you have to put sharps and flats, or, in what circumstances you need them. So let's talk about that. Your naturally occurring half steps are going to be between B and C and E and F. B and C and E and F. Now, the C scale, if you were just to start on a C and you just walk the letters all the way up, it would naturally produce a major scale. Naturally produce a major scale. Now, remember, scales have 8 degrees, okay? So what you're going to have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now remember, 1 and 8 are the same letter, but they are literally an octave apart, 8 octaves, right? Okay, so that's how you get that. All right, now, for scale degrees, this is the major scale, okay? So let's just put the major scale here. And here's what I want to point out. Okay, and obviously I will keep reiterating a lot of these things as we go along, and I'll keep teaching this to folks weekly as we do this, just to kind of reinforce this. But this is the major scale. Where do the half steps exist in the major scale? They exist over here between, okay, right there. You're going to go 3 to 4 right there, okay? And they're going to be B to C. You're going to be 7 to 8, okay? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, so that's how you get your major scale. Now that means that every other note in the relationship here is going to be a whole step. It's going to be a whole step between the rest of these. Okay, how do we show what a whole step is? Rather, sorry, not whole note, whole step. Okay, we show that way. Okay. Okay. And then there you go. And then you start over again back to D, okay? So that's how you get whole steps, and that's how you show whole steps. That's how you show half steps. Now, this does not change if it's a major scale. You could be starting on G, you could be starting on E, you could be starting on A. It won't matter. As long as you start on those notes, that might be a lot of road noise. Sorry if you're hearing it. As long as you're starting on a given note and you desire a major scale, your half steps will always be in this order. Your half steps and your whole steps will always be in this order. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. The half steps are always going to be, let's translate this into scale degrees because it's going to be very useful to you. And in what I call out in the wild. Okay. Out in the wild. If you're doing orchestra, if you're doing school, if you're doing, what would be a band or churches or anything like that, this is going to be very useful to you. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Between 3 and 4, you've got your half step. And then between 7 and 8, you've got your half step. Okay. So your whole steps are going to be here, 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 here. Okay. Does that make sense? That now go ahead and, maybe pause this, take a picture. We're talking about scale degrees right now and where your natural half steps are. So even though the C major scale uses only natural notes, okay, only natural notes here, okay, you can translate that to any other scale starting on any other note. And that's why we use the scale degrees, okay? So if you know the formula for the major scale, which is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, you can make a major scale anywhere starting on any note, okay? Very, very useful. Also good to know the scale degrees, Okay, let's go ahead and let's talk about one other thing here, and then we'll kind of move on to something a little more fun, a little more lighthearted, okay? And that is how to make a chord. How to make a chord. And when I say make a chord, what I mean is actually choosing the notes or choosing the letters or choosing the scale degrees in order to get the desired sound of a chord. Now, we're going to stick with major chords here, okay? Minors are always a byproduct of the major in some capacity, okay? They're always a byproduct of the major in some capacity. So if you start by learning your majors, you'll be able to get to the minors relatively easily. It does take some music theory knowledge and understanding, but you can get there relatively easily, okay? All right, so let's talk about that. What does it take to make a chord? What does it take to make a chord? Well, as long as you've got a scale that you're working with, and in this case we do, we have the C, okay? And we know the scale degrees are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? All we're going to do is we're going to choose scale degrees, and then we're going to drop those letters down, and it's going to make us a chord. Now, the scale is a C major. So let's choose, and here's your formula. You ready? Formula. Scale degree 1, scale degree 3, and scale degree 5. That's going to get us the chord for this C major scale. Now let's drop those, and I literally wrote it out this way on purpose. Let's drop these letters down and let's make our chord. You ready? So 1 is C, 3 is E, G is 5. Boom. There's my chord. There's my chord right there. Okay. Now, this is the C major chord. This is a C major chord right here. Okay. And now we can use any scale to make the major. Well, okay, let me back up. We can use any major scale to make any major chord in this fashion. Doesn't matter what it starts on, but as long as we have these two things right here and this right here, we can figure out the chord, the major triad, you'll also hear it called, okay, major triad, okay, for any scale, okay? But we need to have the scale degrees, and we have to understand what it takes to make a chord. It takes first scale degree, third scale degree, fifth scale degree, okay, to make a chord. And in this case, it's the major chord. Okay, we've got ourselves a major triad here, okay? Those are the nuts and bones of it. I'm going to kind of leave that alone now. Notice how we're omitting all these other scale degrees. We're not playing them. Okay, so you make this triad, you omit everything else. Okay, but like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, we don't. You can play 8. A lot of times we do just to reinforce the root, right? The 1 would be the root or the tonic, also known as the tonic. Okay, but we just kind of leave it alone. We don't use this all the time. 8 is optional, so I guess you could do another C at the end of that. Okay, but 1, 3, 5, those are the main scale degrees. You grab that, you'll have yourself a chord. You have yourself a triad here. Okay, good. Okay, let's go on to something else, which I thought was actually quite hilarious. Okay, and we're not going to be too long-winded here today because, again, I value your time. I don't want to take up anybody's time unduly here. Okay, should I leave that up? I don't know. That light's kind of in the way. How about that? That's better. Okay, there you go. Now you can take a picture of this, okay, if you want to, and you can get yourself, man, that light's not good, is it? I'm going to have to fix that. Take a picture of that, zoom in, crop me out. I'm not useful in this circumstance for a picture. And then take that with you, and you can use that, okay? Okay, now, here's the fun piece of something or other here, okay? Music news. All right. Have you ever heard of a band called Oasis? I have. Okay. As a guitar player, everybody learns the song Wonderwall. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but almost everybody learns the song Wonderwall. Okay. All right. So Wonderwall is a song by Oasis. It was stupid popular. And I use that term academically. Okay. Because I'm not quite sure if there's a way to quantify that. Extremely popular. So overplayed. One of the most overplayed songs of all time is Wonderwall. Okay, hands down, Wonderwall is on the top 10 of most overplayed songs in the history of songs, in my opinion. Okay, now Oasis made news recently because Oasis came out. I don't know if it's them personally or a representative of them, but somebody leaked out that they're going to do a reunion tour. Okay, and so this is purely for the press. This is purely for advertising and PR. Okay. Somebody said that their ticket sales would dwarf the sales of Taylor Swift. They would dwarf the sales of Taylor Swift. Probably back in the day, I'm thinking good chance. Okay. Good chance. You know what? Back in 1990s, early $2,000, maybe, right? I can't remember exactly when the heyday of Wonderwall was or Oasis was, but it was somewhere around that time period. Perhaps back then, I don't know. Maybe in the UK, maybe their reunion tour will be huge in the UK and in Europe. Maybe that's possible. Could they beat Taylor Swift in the UK and Europe? Very likely. I think they're from the United Kingdom originally. I think they're from England or something like that. I have to look that up again. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% positive, but I think they are. Regardless, that's kind of where I feel like they would take off the most. But really, come on, are we going to beat Taylor Swift? Are we? I don't know. I find that hard to believe. But, I guess anything's possible. Maybe. I think it was purely for the public relations. I think they said that just because they knew it would get people like me talking about this stuff online so they could get more people hearing about their reunion tour and sell more tickets. And hey, it might become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe it'll work. Maybe they will beat Taylor Swift. Who knows? At least maybe in England or something like that, right? I don't know. I don't know if Taylor Swift's got a huge following in England. I assume she does, right? Pretty much international or global at this point, right? Okay, so I thought that was hilarious. And just because of the reaction, just because of everybody look, one of their Wonderwall says, because maybe, maybe they will. Who knows? We'll see. I just found it hilarious that everybody just blew up. They're like, but Taylor Swift, they're going to be too. Hey, probably not, but I think it would be hilarious. So me personally, I think it would be hilarious if they did beat Taylor Swift in at least England, at least the UK. I think that would be funny. Okay, so that's just something that I was on my radar. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, finally, I'll stay on just a little bit longer here, and we'll mess around. And if anybody's got any questions, we'll answer some questions. If not, we won't be too long here tonight. I'm probably just going to keep these live streams down to, 20, 30 minutes for when we do this, That's like my dark tone. So this is my Carbon Bolt Plus, and I really do like it. It's a great guitar. Covers a lot. My favorite thing about this guitar is the potentiometers. Okay. Well, I should say specifically the tone potentiometers, the tone pots in here. They do something really unique. They don't throw like a wet blanket. Not even that. How'd you describe it? They don't take away all of the bass tone from this guitar. They leave a good bit there, and they leave a little bit of treble. So it just sounds subdued. Okay, it just sounds subdued. Now I'm using a thumb pick right here, okay? So I'm using my Fred Kelly Bumblebee Jazz, okay? They've got the teardrop, but I like the jazzes for right now. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of messing around with them. I may change them a little bit, but yeah, that's a song. I'm going to re-record that. I'm not going to say the name though for copyright purposes, but yeah. Now, for when I do record it, it won't matter. I don't care if it gets copyrighted because it's something I'm just going to release onto the internet. Although I may get a cover license for it because it's going to be a really fun cover that I do of it, and I might add some violin in there, and it'll be cool. It'll be fun. Another fun like that. Little jammy jam. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll probably just wrap it up here and just kind of move on. I'll leave this up for a little bit, and then I'll probably transfer this over to the website. So if you want to find this stuff, want to find that music theory material, so on and so forth, like I said, go back to the previous part of this video and take a picture of that. And that way you can have that recess for you. You know, blow it up on your phone. You can do that. Right? Edit. The edit feature is wonderful and powerful in so many different ways. Okay. All right. Yeah. So check that out. Good to hang out with everybody here tonight. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Comment below what a good time is for you. I don't know what a good time is. This is just the one that works out for me right now. I'll probably change this later on to a different time. Find something that either works better, doesn't conflict with other things, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. All right. Hope you're having a great day. Practice, practice, practice.